What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Dream Diesel giveaway number 21. Right now, that truck, Lonestar, a brand spanking new 2022 High Country Duramax, and $30,000 cash is up for grabs. And as you're seeing this video on the 16th of November until November 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 15 times entries. The giveaway's highest entry multiplier is live for your chance to win this cash and that truck right there. So in this video, guys, we're gonna do a comprehensive look of every single detail of this truck, and we're gonna tell the backstory as to why we coined that High Country right there behind us with like 153 miles on the clock right now, Lonestar. There's a really cool story to that, and we'll get into it in a little bit. I encourage that you guys stay tuned for this whole video because we're gonna get into very specific things that I get asked all the time on Instagram. So I figured this was an awesome opportunity to just address all of what was done to the truck, because I know a lot of you guys that have similar trucks, you're gonna want to do similar things. I never really know what to do with the. I'm just gonna put that right there on that nice 24x14 Genesis. We'll get into those in a minute. So anyway, guys, kind of a funny story before we get into this video real quick. I had to share it because it's just so ironic. The days seem to get shorter and shorter and shorter this time of the year because we don't have daylight savings in our favor anymore. So myself and Casey, holding the camera right now, came out and filmed this very exact video right over there earlier this morning. But we had some technical issues. And here we are again. Casey, the deja vu is so real. So anyway, guys, I'm excited to make this video in part of take two because there are some things that I missed the first go around, and I don't want to miss any details because this one of one sand High Country Duramax is so unique in every single way, shape, and form. And when you become its new owner, I want to make sure that you have this video as a reference guide to ownership of that truck right there and that money right there. So before we get started, guys, I just want to kind of overview what the truck is. What we did this time around is bought a brandy spanking new 2022 High Country Black Duramax from Pennsylvania. It was actually delivered to me. They drove it and it went from like 2 miles to like 93 miles. And then we built the entire truck before 100 miles to keep the miles off of it for you when you take it into your possession. Now, before we go any further, I need to know, where is this truck gonna call home? If you're its winner, drop a comment below. I know we got states and we've got provinces in the mix, so drop those comments below. 2022 High Country Duramax, fully loaded from the factory. It's got every single option that you can equip these trucks with. From the factory LED headlights, you've got your awesome badass daytime running lights. You've got your lane departure system, so you've got your front sensors that go this whole span around the truck on the front bumper and the rear bumper. We've got your LED projector fog lights. Those things are super bright and you'll find that you're gonna be using them in dim lit situations. Looking at the front of the truck, this is equipped with the L5P Duramax, which is oh so notorious for its functional air dam. One of my favorite features that GM kind of brought from the muscle car era and featured it into the muscle diesel space. They're awesome because they're functional and they give the front end of these trucks so much more of an aggressive look. But this truck obviously looks way, way more aggressive now that we did what we did to it. We'll get into that here in a minute. From the factory also, you've got your 10-speed, new for 2020 on these new GM Duramaxes, Allison 10-speed transmission. Absolutely incredible. It shifts like butter, and I can't wait for you to try it out yourself. Coming around to the side, I believe it's new for 22. Don't quote me on that. I've had a fair share of these new GM trucks, and this is my first one with the factory power folding steps. I'm pretty pumped up about that. If you guys have been a subscriber to my YouTube channel for a while, I have been begging General Motors since owning my 2015 LML to feature that. Ford had it, Ram had it, GM finally has it, and then actually made one rendition, which is pretty cool. It's hard to see right now because the sun is blasting. There's an ambient light that runs the whole width of these steps. So when you unlock the truck at night, it lights up your feet wells, and I think that's pretty cool. We also added some other lighting around the truck that we'll get into here in a minute, which takes that effect and makes it 10 times cooler. And then also from the factory around the back side, these Chevys are pretty cool. They've got your power folding assisted drop tailgate, and this is a pretty sweet feature. I didn't think I would use it all that much, but when you have it, which you might find out for yourself if you choose to get entered for this truck, you'll find you might use it more often than you would think not. Pretty slick, I'm not gonna lie. It's a locking tailgate with the remote key fob, and it's got a factory spray and bed liner. Now, speaking of the key fob, you can drop and raise the tailgate as well as remote start. And that brings us into anybody in the cold climate. That remote start is something that you will not be able to live without once you adopt this truck into your possession. And then on the inside, it is fully jet black interior, all leather seats, leather steering wheel, Bose infotainment system, navigation. You've got your heated seats, your cooled seats, heated steering wheel, and everything else in between. So now that you guys kind of have a general idea as to what's from the factory, we can get into what's not from the factory, which is probably why you're watching this video. So what makes this truck Lonestar? That's what we coined this thing. It's for 3 reasons. One is the color. It looks like it's something straight out of like a Western movie. It looks awesome, and it has this road presence that's ever so sinister, and it's loud without saying anything at all, if that makes any sense at all. The second reason is because that truck was essentially built by yours truly. Our homie Jake was actually out on one of his dream hunting trips while we were building that truck, and it brought me back to the old time's sake. And that's actually how I kind of thought of the name Lonestar, because I was essentially pioneering this thing after we collected all the parts from Accelerate Auto and Peach Bottom Auto Body to put this creation back together. And then last and finally, Lonestar is there's a high likelihood that this is going to be the last truck that we build in the shop that we've been in for the last 2 years. So it's going to be quite impactful, and it'll have a chapter of sentiment, if you will, to look back on what we did under one roof versus when we move into another location. That being said, guys, how about we jump into the front end of this truck? We're gonna cover all the exterior things that we did. Then we're gonna handle wheels and tires, suspension, so stay tuned for that. And then I got a secret for you guys inside, so stay tuned. So we all know that the 2020 Plus High Countries are a very controversial platform, and I decided to go with this specific color with the specific platform just to show everybody how sick they can be. I'm not gonna lie, and I can't say it's my favorite because like all the trucks that we build and give away to you guys, which we're grateful to do, are my favorites, but like this one holds a very special place in my plethora of favorites. It's awesome in every way, shape, and form. So to start, this wrap is by Nositech. It's called Sand. So it's not like sand tan or like sand beige, it's just sand. That's it. It's very simple. And it's an absolutely badass color. It shows completely different in the sun versus in the shadows. Honestly, the color that's hitting right now is a little bit more warm than it typically is. On a nice, mild, light day where the sun is being filtered by some clouds, it almost shows as like a cream. It's really, really cool. So we did a full color change on compliment to Accelerate Auto. They're out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We do a lot of our builds with them, and they just do an incredible job. I can't wait for you to see this thing in person, because the wrap, it looks better than a paint job. Like factory paint nowadays has orange peel, and like this doesn't. It just blows my mind. And what's even cooler about these wraps is that they're buffable. So as you wash it over time, inevitably, you're gonna get some micro scratching, this and that, even if you're super precautious about how you wash your rag, but you can buff it all out of this film. It works really, really nice. This is our third truck that we've wrapped with the Nositech film. So we had Convict, which was chalk gray, that went out to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and now is owned by John. And then we have Sarge, that was military green, or an OD green, that went off to Oscar in Georgia. And now we've got this one, which could be coming home with you. So let's start here at the front end. We've got a full color change with complements of black. Now, this truck is black, remember that, and every accent that's on this truck that's been painted black is the factory color. We did that because who knows, when you adopt this truck into your possession, you could have it for the rest of your life, and if one day you choose to remove the wrap, which mind you is good for years and years and years and years and years, as long as you maintain it, you'll have a fully murdered out High Country Duramax. Kind of works nice. You kind of have 2 trucks in one. So we've got the High Country lower valance that we painted black. Sean from Peach Bottom Auto Body did all of our painting, does all of our painting. We trust nobody else with our paint needs because he's simply the best. Sean helped us out with painting that lower valance. We powder coated our front tow hooks black to match. Those are originally chrome from the factory. We've got some dust on it because lately it's harvest season, as you can see. Fog lights, factory projectors, blacked out paint to match housings. We've got our color match bumper tan and sensors, as you can see, and then coming up to the front, the grills on these trucks are absolutely colossal. And it was an opportunity to create a statement, but if we went too much tan or too much black, it wouldn't have been the right message. So what we did is found the perfect medium. We've got our horizontal cross slats painted black factory to match, and this whole front bezel actually factory painted to match as well, and then we wrapped it. So we did wrap on every single what was from the factory bronze cross slat here, and then we did a wrap with a black breakup in the center, which adds a really nice breakup in definition and shows contrast to just how menacing the grills are in these High Country. Coming over to the badge, no more chrome, all paint to match black. And then of course we've got our wrap to match bow tie here in the front. And then I just want to show compliment to how good the guys at Accelerate Auto are, which is why we work with them, because we want to build you nothing but the best that you're getting entered for. In the grill it says High Country, and they were able to emboss the wrap in every single one of those recessed letters, just like the factory did with paint. As I literally always say, and I live by, less is more, and it's one of those details that's little, but goes a long way. Now, to the headlights on this truck, it's a 2-piece headlight bezel. So we actually took out the front bezel and painted it to match the truck. The back part is still chrome because that's where the reflection happens. If that was black, you wouldn't have you might as well just drive around with a flashlight because you wouldn't have headlights. And then this little chrome strip up top, that's painted black as well. We decided not to mask off the DRL slats. A, because I think they look like shark fins. This has like a very great white presence to it. Then B, they shine extremely bright when not masked off. Sometimes we will actually mask these lights and paint over them so the light shines through a smaller surface area. But I think it works really well for one, that reason I just explained. And two, we've got a matching clear lens up at the top because we deleted the amber out of the actual headlight. That way it's like all white lighting on the front of this truck. Now, as far as accent lighting on the truck, we did leave the factory amber with the clear up top. We did not tint those out. And you've got the amber lights for the cab lights as well, which are already like factory blacked out, which is cool. Played in really, really nice with this truck. Now that being said, I'm just gonna go over a few more exterior details that we definitely are very pumped about that brought this truck to life. First, starting with the hood scoop. We thought about originally doing this black, but we opted into tan so that way it blended in a little bit more, and it actually left for that opening to show black. That way, it didn't stand out too much, but from the front of the truck, you really got an idea that it existed. And then you can see the cowls that exist between that hood scoop that just give it a very, very menacing stance. The front end of this truck has to be one of my favorite views. And then my second favorite view is probably the quarter of the truck because you can really see how well the stance and the lift height on this thing was enough, not too much, and also not enough. It was perfect. So that being said, a few more minor paint to match items. We've got our Duramax badge, all black paint to match. We've got our badge bezel. All these plastics that I'm gonna be pointing to are originally like a textured plastic. Peach Bottom Auto Body takes great pride in tediously sanding all of those imperfections and rough edges off the plastic so that way it comes out with like a nice smooth painted finish. Painted to match on that bezel. Custom paint to match High Country badges that are on the front fender. Love that complement of this truck. I think it just adds so much definition to the exterior of it. Sanded smooth painted mirrors with, again, wrap to match. All sanded smooth. Like, these things are absolutely beautiful. Black 2500 HD badges which breaks up a lot of the tan around the side of the truck. There was chrome that was originally on those running boards. I guess I locked myself out, but we have keyless entry, so you just hit the button, you're ready to rock and roll, you open up your truck, you keep the key fob right in your pocket. Not a big deal at all. So that's all been blacked out as well. Complete chrome delete on this truck, including the actual grab handles for the door themselves. Real quick, before we get into this suspension, I know you guys are very anxious about that. Sanded smooth and painted side steps, and then with a complement tan on the bottom, and same thing on the back, sanded smooth painted, and then we always leave the steps actual textured plastic because we want you guys to be able to step on these things without having to scratch the paint. If we painted those, they'd be scratched within an instant. Same thing for these top step pads and these back bumper pads here. We want you guys to be able to use the truck in whatever situation that your life calls for. Have you guys ever actually held $30,000 in cash? I always get so nervous walking around with this, but it's part of the prize. And genuinely, you're gonna have to come up with a really safe place to put it. In the time being, I'm just gonna stash it in what could be your American Forest wheel. Now, speaking of the wheels, these are 24x14 -90 offset concave face American Forest Genesis. We actually got these wheels polished and then we had them powder coated by a local powder coater. We swear by him, he does an absolutely incredible job, and the finish on these things is immaculate. It's a gloss black to match, and then we've got the gloss black center caps and spike lug nuts as well. They give this truck a very, very nice stance, and we still have full turn radius and everything like that. So it looks good and it performs well. Now we wrapped those 24x14s in the new Venom Power RT. This is a 33 high by 14.5 inch wide, true 14.5 inch wide tire, which gets that really nice square sidewall. Probably one of my favorite looks ever on single wheel diesels. It just complements them so well, where sometimes when you get 14-inch wide wheels, tire manufacturers tend to stretch their tires a little bit more, whereas these don't. And they look like the ever so popular Ridge Grappler that we actually just gave away on Convict. And that brings us to the suspension on this truck. The stance obviously speaks for itself, but we wouldn't be able to achieve that stance with those 14 wides without lifting this thing up a little bit. And from the factory, these new body style GMs are already colossal. They widen the body lines, they stretch the frame out, you get a lot more cab width, you get more bed space, but you also get a bigger truck. And with that, we had to lift this thing up to clear these to be able to drive it. So we worked with Cognito this time around. They make an awesome no torsion bar drop lift kit, NTBD. If you guys see that advertised, that's what that stands for. It's a really nice kit that adds cross members, upper control arms, knuckles, Fox shocks with resis, and extension brackets and hardware wherever needed, like the swing arm for instance. To get it, to a scenario where it sits a few inches higher than stock, but also rides a lot better than stock. So that's a pretty crazy thing, is when you get in this truck to drive it for the first time, when you come to pick it up in PA with that cash, and these keys, and the title that's gonna have your name in it, you're gonna find that if you drove this thing comparatively to its stock form, it rides 100% better now. I had the 4-inch NTBD on my LML some time ago, and I fell in love with it, so we put it on Dream Deals giveaway number 19, that went out to Kane Rempel of Colorado, and then this one could be coming home with you. Now, we didn't do any powder coat on this suspension this time around because we really wanted to go with the less is more strategy, being that we wanted to stick to the all tan and black. We thought about powder coating the Cognito lift kit to match, but truthfully this time around, we kind of wanted to just have a very simple package that spoke a lot and that was loud, but also subtle in and of its own way. Now, as we do on essentially every single one of our builds, except my personal AT4, which I really have to do because I miss having them, we put rock lights on pretty much every single one of our trucks. This one's outfitted with 2 rock lights per wheel well. We've got rock lights up front, rock lights that run along the whole side, in the rear, and everything complement this side on the driver's side. They light up super well. They're very nice weather sealed units that are independently switched from the inside. I'll tell you what, during the day, it adds a cool flair to this truck, but at night, that's when you really have to see it. And then last but not least, on the exterior, one of our favorite mods that could also get you entered for a chance to win this truck is our Enthusiast bullet antennas. They're actually made right here in Lancaster, actually in the parking lot of the business that we're standing in right now. Very grateful for these guys. We love to support local Lancaster businesses in everything that we do, and this is just one of the ways that we can do it. We offer these in 3 varieties. There's an anodized black like this with the laser engraved Holy Grail. There's a polished, and then there's a brushed. You could outfit your truck with any option that complements your build while also having the chance to claim these. All right, guys, welcome to your brand new 2022 High Country Duramax. I'm gonna take your cash and I'm gonna set it right there where it's nice, safe, and sound. This thing is super nice on the inside. We did a 5% tint on all of the side windows, including the rear. And then we've got a 45% tint here on the front. 45 is dark enough to where it creates a privacy, but light enough to where at night, it doesn't make you feel like Ray Charles. Now, what's really cool inside these High Countries, it might be a little hard to tell right now just because the light's shining in, but there's like bronze accents that run all around the interior. You've got your wood grain right here, and then you've got your bronze accents around the steering wheel. It's one of those little things, but I feel like with the theme of this truck, it fits it really, really nicely. It's a fully jet blacked out leather interior. As I had mentioned, you have High Country embroidered on the headrest. You've got your heated and cool seat controls for both you and your passenger, dual climate control, Bose sound system, navigation, Bluetooth, automatic high beams, and the list goes on and on and on. This is a 4-wheel drive truck. We never give away 2-wheel drive trucks because we never know where these trucks are gonna end up. You've got wireless charging, and then we ask ourselves, what more can we really do on the inside of a truck that's already so well established? Well, there's one thing that we especially love, and it's this right here. If you guys can recall, for Convict, we had the same thing. If I go ahead and hit this on button, it shows you the stars. So you can cruise in Lonestar under the stars, and you can even match them to the truck if you want. You can change it, it's RGB, it's programmable from this remote control. A whole bunch of different modes on how it twinkles, how it shoots stars, how it syncs to your music, and you can control it all from your phone if you'd like, but the remote's kind of convenient. I tend to leave mine right in the center console like that, call it a day. And last but not least, this truck is equipped with a full sunroof. We're just keeping the shade down for all intents and filming purposes right now, but it's fully loaded. It's got a power sliding rear window, and really all it needs is one missing component, and that's you right in my spot right now. So guys, that's a wrap on the reveal of Lonestar. That's an in-depth look at every single detail. So if you didn't watch this video and you have a question about what's done to it, just scroll back because we pretty much covered every option, and I answered all those DMs now that we've gotten since we revealed this truck. And we got to thank you guys, an enormous amount of reaction of excitement with this thing. On my personal Instagram, you guys got me up to like 53,000 likes or something like that, which is just absolutely incredible. And we're all very grateful for it here at Enthusiast. And we can't wait to find out if you're going to take this cash and that truck home to join the winner's circle for Dream Diesel giveaway number 21. That spot's open, and it could be you that's filling it up.